How's it going, YouTube? I'm Roland Bilmaris, and I'm going to be teaching you how to set up your labor rates. First thing you're going to do is research. You want to look at the competitors in your area. What are they charging? What dealerships are charging? And you want to be slightly below that so you can stay competitive in the market. Let's dive right into it. Setting up your labor rates. So let's start first with our truck labor rate. Now, of course, you know that you're going to charge a little bit more for trucks because, for one, you have to have a higher skill level. Two, you have to use more expensive diagnostic equipment. So of course this labor rate is going to be higher. For example, let's say that the dealership charges $115 an hour. You probably want to charge around $105 an hour. Now, you also want to remember that hooking up your computer, your diagnostic equipment, whenever you hook your diagnostic equipment up to a truck, let's say it's a drive-up customer, you want to make sure you charge for hooking up that diagnostic equipment. Do not do it for free. You don't know if that customer or the drive-up customer is going to stay there and get the repairs done by you, or if they're going to try to limp it back to their hometown or their shop and get it done there. So you want to always charge at least an hour or half an hour for just connecting the diagnostic equipment to read a check engine light. Trailers. You want to charge separately for performing trailer repairs. Reason being is because the skill level is slightly different. For trucks are always evolving, and you always have to keep up with the latest technology. For trailers, the technology isn't evolving as fast. Now yes, technology is evolving for trailers, but not as quickly as trucks. Now, all other shops normally are going to charge a lower rate for trailer repair. So when you measure the trailer repair, let's say you have a reefer unit come in and you want to repair something on the trailer itself and not on the actual reefer unit. So you charge a trailer repair rate for repairing the trailer. And then if you have to repair the reefer unit, you charge a higher rate for the reefer unit, considering that the reefers are a higher skill level and you have to be educated on dealing with reefers. Also charge a separate rate if you have to deal with ABS. ABS is a learned skill. If you have the diagnostic equipment to deal with ABS systems, then you can charge a higher rate for that, and that's the way you can sell it. You can tell the customer there is a higher labor rate because of the fact that you have to invest into the diagnostic equipment, and of course you have to keep it up to date annually. Plus you have to send the tech to school and training to learn how to deal with all the upcoming ABS systems, such as the Bendix Tab 6, the Wabco RSS Plus systems, systems that are more computerized. So you can charge higher for separate items like ABS systems, and even lift gates can be charged higher because you do have to send your techs to learn how to deal with lift gates, or have a lift gate representative come down and teach your techs how to actually handle the hydraulic systems and the electrical systems. So these are specialized systems that you can charge a higher labor rate for because you have to have a higher skilled tech and continuous training in order to repair these systems. Now, how do you set up your breakdown labor rate? So for breakdowns, the first thing you want to do is you want to set up a radius. What is the limit that you're willing to go out to in order to perform a repair? So let's say that your shop or your home or wherever your address is, look on Google Maps and draw like a radius around it, maybe a 40-mile radius. Let's use that for an example. So let's say you have a 40-mile radius, that within that 40 miles, you'll do a breakdown service for a service call with a 1-hour minimum, and you won't charge any mileage. So if it's out of that 40-mile radius, then that's where you'll start charging mileage. You start charging your service call, an hour minimum to 2-hour minimum, and you can charge like $1.50 a mile. And you want to charge that $1.50 a mile to portal. So what that means is from your shop to the breakdown location back to your shop. So let's say it's 60 miles you have to go to the breakdown location. Then you're charging 120 miles because it's 60 miles from your shop to the breakdown location and 60 miles from that breakdown location back to your shop. And that's what you should charge. Now, it doesn't matter if your tech is maybe down the street from this breakdown location at a customer's, or let's say that that he has to basically go in that area anyways. So he has to go hit that breakdown, and then he can go to either another breakdown or a customer's yard that he's going to service. And that doesn't matter. What matters is that you charge the portal to portal and that the customers understand that. You do want to charge a minimum, either a 1 hour or 2 hour minimum. The worst thing that you want to do is go out to a breakdown location, charge them a service call, and it's only a 15-minute job. That is the worst thing to do because you're wasting your tech's time and the fuel cost on that particular truck. So you want to charge a minimum. You got to make it worth your while to go out to do a breakdown and make sure your customers understand that. They don't want to be bombarded with, well, you never told me that it was going to be a minimum of 1 hour or 2 hours. So make sure your customer understands your pricing before you do the call. After hours service charges. This is where you can make their big bucks. Now, first things first, you need to determine what time the after hours will start. So normally this is when your shop will close, around 4:30, 5 o'clock. If you don't have a shop and you're just a mobile truck, then set your time around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. After those times, then that's when you start charging your after hours call. Make sure your customers are aware of this. So your after hours call, you can charge a lot higher than what you normally charge. So let's say during the day you have a $95 service call plus a 1 hour minimum. So after hours, you can charge a $95 service call with a 2 hour minimum, or you can charge a higher service call if you like, 150 service call with a 1 or 2 hour minimum. And on top of that, you can also charge mileage. So if it's out of that 40-mile radius, you can charge $2.50 per mile, portal to portal, depending on how far the distance is. Or you can just charge mileage. Let's say you want to charge a service call of $95 plus your 1 hour minimum, and then you want to charge $2.50 a mile on top of that. So there's plenty of different ways that you can charge out an after hours service charge, but just make sure that you don't go overboard with it. If you go overboard with it, customers are not going to want to deal with you, especially the fleet companies that use third-party billing services. They are dependent on shops out there to do breakdowns, and of course, if you do not, give them a good rate, they're going to go with somebody else. So you want to make sure that you don't overcharge. Negotiations. You want to make sure that you set a limit on your labor rates. What is the lowest that you're willing to go for a customer? Write that down and document that. Let your sales team know, or whoever's doing the selling for you. If it's you, you want to make sure you have that number in your mind when you walk into any sales situation. Now, if you have a customer that is a very large customer you've been wanting to get, but you walk in there and they tell you, well, I can't do business with you unless you're $40 an hour. Well, you know that your shop cannot survive on $40 an hour for any type of service. So you have to know that it's okay to tell customers no. It's okay if customers are large enough to where they are going to tell you, well, you're just a big fish in a little pond. That's okay. You want customers that are going to pay you. You don't want the customers that are going to nickel and dime you, because not only will they nickel and dime you, but they will scrutinize every invoice to get every penny out of you, because majority of the time, larger companies and fleets, the actual fleet manager gets a bonus for the amount of money that he saves. So do not let yourself get discouraged by this. Just make sure that you find the right customers and you stay away from the wrong customers. Alright guys, that's it for determining how to set up your labor rates. Now, you have any other questions about anything regarding fleet repair or heavy duty medium shop setup, just let me know. I'm going to be doing more videos on selling, on how to retain customers, on how to retain technicians. So if you have any other questions, leave it in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell. And you guys have a good one, and go out there and sell your services.